Welcome to Sales Mastery. I'm Dr. Jeff McGee, number 54. Do you absolutely feel 100% confident in your role? I'm sure there's times that maybe we all may question ourselves, but are you confident more so than not? Now, years ago, I remember sitting down at a conference in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'd come into this room a little bit late, and so what was left was really just a couple seats at the back of the room, because up front was a VIP, SME, rock star speaker, the great Nito Cabay. If you don't know that name, put that one on your homework assignment. Nito's been a great mentor, friend, advisor to me for decades, and a contributor to my professional performancemagazine.com publication for decades. But in this room, Nito was absolutely the magic draw, and he is phenomenal. Self-made, immigrant. You need to read the rest of the story. Well, as he was talking, and I'm taking copious notes, an older gentleman comes in and sits down right next to me in his suit. And I kind of looked over at him, and we smiled and acknowledged each other, being polite and not distracted with the speaker up front. And I'm taking notes, so I realized he's taking as aggressive note-taking as I am. Didn't know who he was. And at one point, Nito made a comment up front, and he kind of asked the room a question. Some hands went up, and he said, "So let me start with a gentleman in the back row that just sat down, and if you would share with us your views." And that gentleman stood up, and he started talking, and he was the great Zig Ziglar. I mean, there's only one voice that belongs to Zig Ziglar. And if you don't know who Zig Ziglar is, you need to write that name down as a major homework assignment in the world of selling. I'm sitting right next to Zig Ziglar, and my first impressions of him was he was an aggressive student, just like I was. So the challenge is this: if you want to feel 100% confident, you're never not being a student. You never stop learning. You never stop looking for one more clue that can help you to be more effective with what you have as your own powerful secret DNA. Do you absolutely feel 100% confident in your role? So a little bit later in my relationship, as I got to know the great Zig Ziglar, who wrote the foreword to a couple of my books and contributed to my magazine on a regular basis for many decades before he passed away. And in fact, before he passed away, he had Laura Majors, his executive assistant, send me a zip file with 77 articles that at that time had never been published. And I run an article on the last page of my performance magazine from Zig Ziglar. And what's fascinating, in the decade plus since he's passed away, I've never even had to put a publisher's note as a preface to the article to put it into context for my readers. He was that great. I remember asking Zig a question. This has 100% to do with selling confidence. I said, "So Zig, an organization hires someone to be in sales. They run them through an incredibly structured, really, really good sales training program, and they go out in the marketplace and are incredibly successful. Why is that newbie so successful?" And his response basically was, "Jeffrey." See, he always used my full name, so my mom wins that one, Jeffrey. "They're following the fundamentals. If you teach people the fundamentals of success, and you know those fundamentals work, and we follow those fundamentals, you'll always be successful." Interesting. A little bit later in the conversation, I said, "So let's go to us veterans. You and I, we've been doing this for years, decades, whatever. What about that one veteran who has a history of great successes, but all of a sudden they're like flatlining. They're not doing great. Why is that?" And he gave the exact same response. "The problem you have when you become too good is you stop doing the fundamentals because you think you know everything. And then that overconfidence is what gets you in trouble. So are you 100% confident? Not 101, not 99. Are you 100%? Because if you're 100% confident, you're always going to be questioning what you need to do in that space with that person on that presentation to be successful.